Imagine your enemy wrote a biography about you. What would they say? Now imagine that biography is the only written record of your life. That's the case with the saint we celebrate today, Saint Callistus, who was a pope and martyr. And Callistus didn't have the typical trajectory you would imagine for a future pope. He started as a slave, and his master gave him charge over a bank. And he lent money and made some wrong decisions and lent money to people he shouldn't have and lost the money. And so he tried to escape by jumping on a boat. He was captured on the boat. He tried to escape by jumping off the boat and committing suicide. He was brought to court. He was sent to prison and then was able to be released. His master gave him another chance, a chance to win the money back. Well, that ended up with him breaking into a synagogue during a Sabbath service and starting a fight. He was again arrested, brought to jail, and was sent to work at the mines in Sardinia. He was eventually released, and from there, he was invited by the then Pope to come and work at the first piece of property that the Catholic Church ever owned, a cemetery. A Catholic cemetery. So he came to work at what would now be called the Catacombs of St. Callistus. And it's interesting, while he was there, he was made a deacon, ordained a deacon, and from there, the Pope who invited him to come and take care of the cemetery passed away. And in the next election, Callistus, who was only a deacon at the time, was elected Pope. His the number two guy who was voted in, was Hippolytus, who couldn't stand Callistus. And what he didn't like about Callistus was he thought he was way too merciful, way too lenient. For example, Callistus held positions like those who during times of persecution had denied their faith, believing that we should show mercy to them and welcome them back. Callistus also believed that those who had done a penance for sins that they had done in the past should be able to come back to communion. Hippolytus didn't think so. Callistus also thought that slaves and free people should be able to marry each other, which was against Roman law, which, again, Hippolytus didn't agree with. But I can't wonder if the own experience of mercy that Callistus had in his own life affected the way that he showed mercy to others. And thinking about that experience of being in charge of the first cemetery, and thinking about all of these people who had gone before him. And Callistus is a lot like the cemetery we hear about in our gospel today, where it's just a flat field. You would never know there's a cemetery there, but it's because it's all underground. If he didn't think about how God had shown mercy and believed in a God of mercy for all of these people who had gone before him. And the opening prayer for today says very beautifully that he promoted devotion to praying for those who were faithfully departed. A great reminder to us that we are called to pray for those who have gone before us in faith, because we know that none of us is perfect, that all of us is in need of God's mercy. What's amazing is that he knew this mercy in his own life, and God knew the expansive mercy of God, because interestingly, both of these gentlemen, Callistus and Hippolytus, through God's mercy, will become saints.